Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Hopefully everyone is having a great week. We're going to give the notifications just a few minutes here to go out while we are waiting for people to come into the room. Um Make sure you are following me on social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I just got another strike over on TikTok today, so I don't know how long I will be over there, okay? But all these other platforms I am on. So I am RhondaMary, Rhonda underscore Mary. All of this information can be found over at RhondaMary.com. As well as you can support this channel by purchasing merch or donating to the channel. So we're going to give people just a few more minutes to come into the room, and I think we did all of our housekeeping stuff. So let's go ahead and jump right in, okay? Because this is just this has just been weighing on my spirit, and it's a hard topic to talk about, because to watch what I feel to be very regressive, okay, in a lot of ways. We keep being told that this is the most progressive time in history and some of the most progressive leaders and all these other things. And I mean, I think that could be said in some ways, several ways. However, I have very grave concerns when it comes to what we are now seeing in terms of what's being allowed with the sexualization of children. What makes this more unique to, let's say, 2 decades ago, maybe like 3, 4 decades ago, and beyond, is the fact that social media gives a just a different level or a different kind of potential to the rates, okay, that children are able to be exploited, and the rates that content is able to be shared and viewed, okay. It is highly concerning. So just 2, 3 decades ago, maybe, where the sexual exploitation of children would have been done a lot of times, behind the scenes, maybe rumored about, things like this. You It's almost as if people are getting comfortable with, I don't know, discussing certain things in the open, almost to a fault. And I feel like if it's not stopped dead in its tracks, it will possibly get worse and worse. Hey to everybody coming into the room. Hey Edward. Hey JB1. Hey King BJ. So let's backtrack a little bit on why I'm bringing up this topic. And don't get it confused. If you have been rocking with me for a while, you know that this is something that I talk about pretty often, and I've talked about pretty often over the last several years, about the fact that you now have to go over and beyond, okay? You have to take even more steps to protect, children. I was watching a movie a couple of days ago, and I was explaining to a child that she was like, did people really used to like not lock their doors and stuff like that, like to their homes? Like, is that a thing? And I was explaining that, you know, in rural areas, maybe like in certain neighborhoods, not that long ago, you had some of the older people who, yeah, like that was a thing. But now, it's like, I was also watching a movie where, oh, that's what I was just tweeting about this the other night. See, if you follow me on Twitter, you would know this is another movie that I was watching. The movie is called The Prisoners, And oh my goodness, The Prisoners. I feel like if you haven't watched this on Netflix and you like drama, it's a pretty good movie. I like a good drama every now and again. Okay, you gotta mix up what you're watching. Nothing wrong with that. And so it was taking me all on this roller coaster of emotions where these two girls were abducted. And you know, I to not give any spoilers or anything, but I was having a conversation about, it wasn't that long ago where, I mean, they were probably a little young, but you could let your kids play in the front yard. You know what I mean? You could let your kids play in the front yard, and the conversation was pretty much like, don't talk to strangers. You know what I mean? If somebody tries to stop and accost you, like offers you a lollipop or something like that, run and tell your parents. Don't get into like the creepy van. But kids could play, you could play in the front yard, and it wasn't like, oh my God, this child is being abused, or like, where are their parents? You know, and there wasn't this extensive level of worry that somebody was going to run off with their child. I mean, even older ages, going into double digits and preteens, you could casually just walk the neighborhood, go hang out with friends, all these other things. And so, you know, it's like it's just getting to the point where I don't like to contextualize the things in that, oh, the world is getting worse, or things like that. But I just think that in some levels we're seeing imbalances that you would think that as time, progresses, some of these issues would, I mean, they're never going to disappear, because you're always going to have evil people, and you're always going to have people that just, I mean, just the evil in hearts of people that is going to be there. And the best we can do is combat it, right? By being good people and being ready to defend, the people that can't defend themselves, defend the children and things like this. And so anyway, going back a little bit, what got me started on this topic is that if you are on Twitter, you may have seen recently, within the last past couple days, uh, another Twitter files was released, and Elon Musk ended up, and I might have that up here. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. But there were some tweets about Yoel Roth, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I'm not exactly sure. But Yoel Roth was the trust and safety chief officer over at Twitter, okay? And more information is coming out about how Twitter, in particular, under its previous administration, did every single thing in its power to censor political speech, censor quote unquote anti-vaccine speech, censor uh, people's feelings and grown adults' pronouns, censor, the Hunter Biden story, censor all these other things, while completely failing to protect children. It is alleged that there was child porn that was on Twitter that had to the tune of 10 million views, while you had people being kicked off of Twitter for unpopular political speech. Like, I just want y'all to really sit with that for a second. Sit with that for a second. You have a major social media platform, a major platform of communication worldwide. I mean, global communication that can push certain conversations. And the people over at Twitter prioritized removing unpopular political speech instead of protecting children. There were petitions and all type of things in the works, constantly asking Twitter to do something about this problem that they had for a very long time. A very long time, okay? Elon Musk has come onto Twitter. He has made this a priority. I don't know what rank, but it's a priority enough so that it is being talked about at great length. Okay. He has teamed up with Eliza Blue, somebody that is known for, a human trafficking survivor and advocate that was doing this work well before Elon took over, and now has gotten the recognition from him and been able to team up with him to take these things further. And so, you know, I am just mind blown by the fact that this has come out. So let's talk a little bit more about why Yoel Roth, I guess that's how you say that. Yoel Roth in particular is key to this, and why people are talking about him, and why his name has been trending. So first of all, before I tell you guys exactly what he did, I want to show you how sick the mainstream media is and how they are complicit and how they talk about these things. And these people are not real journalists. They are not like let me just show you. So this is according to businessinsider.com. Former Twitter executive Yoel Roth was reportedly forced to flee his home in the wake of threats spurred by the Twitter files and increased criticism from Elon Musk. Ramped up attacks on Twitter against a former company executive are reportedly beginning to have real world consequences. Yoel Roth, Twitter's former head of trust and safety, has been forced to flee his home due to intensifying threats of violence, according to a report from CNN. Roth has been subject to a flurry of attacks for decisions he was involved in making at Twitter following the release of the Twitter files, which show internal company communications, including deliberations about whether or not to suspend then President Donald Trump from Twitter in 2021. The company ultimately decided to suspend Trump through Musk, though Musk has reinstated his accounts since taking over Twitter. The attacks against Roth from Musk turned more personal over the weekend, embracing a technique often used by the QAnon conspiracy movement. Musk basically implied in more than one tweet that Roth had a permissive view of pedophilia, according to the Washington Post. Musk's claims against Roth came just a few weeks after Musk publicly defended Roth from accusations of left wing bias based on old tweets, including one from 2016 where Roth called former President Donald Trump a racist tangerine. We've all made some questionable tweets, me more than most, but I want to be clear that I support y'all. My sense is that he has a high integrity and we are all entitled to our political beliefs. Musk tweeted in late October. Neither Roth nor Twitter immediately responded to the request for comments. Roth stayed in his role as Twitter head of trust and safety for 2 weeks after Musk officially took ownership of the social media platform. However, he resigned from the position in mid November. Let me tell you how sick these people are. Let me tell you how sick and pathetic and anti integrity and anti journalism these people actually are. Instead of at any point in that article telling you what this guy actually did and he is being accused of and why people have concerns about him. They spend more time in this article talking about Trump and QAnon. This is a man that we're going to show and talk about it in a second. And after I show you this, regardless of the conclusion that you come to, for them to not give a balanced understanding and you just throw out these buzzwords of, oh, oh, you know, they just must be coming after him because he's called Trump a tangerine. Nobody gives a crap about that. In fact, I've not seen till I read this article anybody even bring that up. The lack of integrity and the lack of diligence to want to protect children and actually give a crap about what people are caring about and what people are saying right now is concerning. It's very concerning. I think we all should be concerned. And this is what the mainstream media is doing right now. Instead of doing actual journalism to say, hey, this is what was said, and this is why. This is the information that you need to know about this to have a full picture of what's actually going on. Does that happen? No, this was some type of smear against Trump and QAnon. Instead of focusing on why there is conflict right now surrounding this man's name. This is just a small example. I mean, this is just one out of tons of how the media is complicit in skewing stories and refusing to protect children, turning a blind eye. And I have a couple more stories for you tonight, okay? But turning a blind eye for whatever reason, to protect the narrative, to protect somebody on their team, to protect whatever the case, whatever it may be, whatever their reason is. Okay, we saw how the mainstream media handled Balenciaga. I covered that just a couple of weeks ago when I literally said, I mean, I Googled the story. I think maybe the second day, third day after it was going on, maybe the second day. And at that time, it was completely viral on Twitter. I mean, Kanye West, I think at that point may have made a statement, but it was so viral on Twitter. And only two mainstream media agencies decided to pick up that news story 24 to 48 hours into the news cycle. Why are these people dragging their feet when it comes to this? Even if we look at the even if we look at the Jeffrey Epstein case, y'all have to remember and recognize that the Jeffrey Epstein story is not an anomaly. It sickened me to my stomach to sit there and see the Jeffrey Epstein documentary be trending on Netflix. Netflix is raking up dollars, okay? Probably to the tunes of millions of dollars from this documentary, yet we still don't know who Jeffrey Epstein's clients were. They still have not been indicted. Like, do y'all get what I'm saying here? They chose to turn something into entertainment and fodder for the people as a distraction. We still don't have answers of who all these elite clients were. Even being, I guess I could still say rumored at this point. I don't know if I should go as far as saying determined, so I'll say rumored that Jeffrey Epstein was very much in cahoots, in ties, in proximity to the CIA. It's some very sick and absurd things going on. And when I tell you that the political connection, the Hollywood connection, the mainstream media connection, and now it's even going into the schools, okay? Because we're going to get there in a second, is running so deep. It's running so deep. Sick people. So let me show you, right? Because we talked about what they didn't in that article, what they didn't mention with Roth, right? So these are some of his previous tweets, and people did stitches here. Twitter will live to porn another day. Another day. Think I just yelled loudly at work. I think I found my calling. It is writing dialogue for chef themed porn. He just goes on and on. I mean, he's constantly talking about porn, talking about Craigslist. The tweets particularly that stuck out to me. Can high school students ever meaningfully consent to sex with their teachers? Now I'm gonna repeat this. I'm gonna repeat this because I really want it to I really want people to get what I'm saying. The former safety and chief officer of Twitter tweeted, can high school students ever meaningfully consent to sex with their teachers? And Business Insider failed to even mention it. Failed to even mention why this man's name could be trending right now, why he could be getting a little backlash, why people could be raising eyebrows, why there could be a little concern. They completely ignored that and had the nerve, the gall to jump to some freaking QAnon. It's the insulting of our intelligence constantly. Oh, we throw this word in there. We don't even have to worry about them because we say QAnon, we gonna run them off because they're gonna say, oh, well, that was just some conspiracy theory. And they're definitely not gonna take the time to look into what this guy was actually saying that made Elon Musk or the Twitter files, however you want to package this, address him in the first place. Other very concerning tweet, that awkward moment when you can't tell whether your neighbor has a really loud infant or is just watching really loud porn. So at no point ever has baby crying and porn came into my mind in no seemingly connected way ever in the history of life. And I would be willing to bet that the average normal person wouldn't think like that. What kind of porn are you watching that makes you think about a baby crying? And then to have the nerve to tweet that. Did Business Insider mention that? No, they decided to protect somebody that at the very least has some very questionable things going on there in their mind as it relates to children. And it becomes a little bit concerning when that person was the trust and safety chief officer over at Twitter for several years. Now, they, people were posting strings of previous tweets where this man was talking about porn this, porn that. Look, you're an adult. I'm not getting into all that. I really could give a crap less as long as I don't want to see it on my timeline. However, when you start coming for the children and bringing the children into it, that's when it becomes a different ball game, and you're going to have a lot of people that are rightfully so going to feel some type of way. Okay, Now, not only that, let me stop sharing. Not only that, this guy, this guy's PhD, let's see, did I write it down? He went to UPenn and he did some type of thesis paper that he was basically arguing the fact why teenage, and I'm assuming boys, because I think that Grinder is pretty much for men. I'm not sure if Grinder is just for men or just LGBT people in general, okay? But I know it is a predominantly site for gay people. He did an entire paper as a PhD, okay, at this university arguing why teenage children should have access to Grinder, which I know to be for all intents and purposes a hookup app now, or a dating app. I'm not super familiar with Grinder. That's about the most I know about it for gay men. A lot of people says for hooking up. Okay. Sometimes people date on these apps as well. So we'll go with that dating app. But he was arguing why, you know, people younger than 18 should be allowed on this app and all these other things. This is another thing why people have questions. People have concerns. Why are you so concerned with young boys having access to these apps on top of the fact that when and this is maybe why all the tweets about the porn came out, because maybe people are kind of trying to show, okay, this is his character, this is what this person is about, this is the mindset of this person. When you put that thesis, because this is not somebody that said, oh, I was working in a shelter for young LGBT youth, and I decided to write this thesis because people don't have somebody to talk to and they need an outlet, and I want to argue this why. That's not you are literally the trust and safety officer. You're constantly tweeting about porn. You've made questionable statements about porn and babies, consensual sex between teachers and students, on top of a thesis paper where you argue that children should have access to a gay dating app. And so when people start putting all these pieces together, I will say I believe there be some concern there, and rightfully so. And most of your mainstream media is just gonna go on to, oh, don't, people are harassing him. Oh my God. Oh, oh no, people are harassing him. These claims are totally unfounded. Oh my God, we need to protect this adult that has said these very questionable, atrocious things. Don't give a crap about the children. Don't give a crap about how some of these, his mindset could have literally impacted a lot of the decisions that were going on with the safety of children over there on Twitter. Don't care. That's just QAnon stuff. Don't worry. Only QAnon cares about protecting children, because we totally have no interest in that over at Business Insider, or at the very least giving you a full, balanced, impartial story. We are dealing with some very look, very sick people here. Very sick people here. And I feel pretty confident saying that people that intend to or seek to harm children should probably be a little bit concerned. I think that lends to a pretty healthy society where if you intend to hurt, harm, abuse, manipulate, violate children, you should be a little freaking nervous. You should probably have something to worry about. But ignore that for the news story and the cover basis for our team. Very sick. Very sick. So, now hopefully we're going to see even more as time goes on, but there is word that there's already been things that have been being removed from Twitter that have violated the privacy, the human rights, and other things of actual children. We're talking about children. I don't give a crap. The highest priority should always be to protect children. Always. That's the actual answer. Like anything less than that is inhumane. So that's why we see this guy trending. That's why we see people having the reaction that they're having. Not even Don't even let me forget to mention that this guy uh reportedly was single-handedly responsible for removing the word groomer because it it's used to bully LGBT people. Now, of course, that's going to be easy to say and easy to for people to characterize it that way because anybody with common sense could see how a lot of these people that are into pedophilia and even people that are under the banner of MAPS now are trying to hitch their wagon to LGBT. So if you're going to allow them to hitch your wagon to you, get in where you fit in. But I don't give a crap who you are, what other adult you're into. If your business is about protecting children, that's just what it is. And you have plenty of people and organizations that are standing up and standing out, even under the LGBT banner, or to do that. And so for them to even try to say, oh, this word groomer is only for this group of people, just even goes to show how far people are willing to just, they don't even want you to be able to have this discussion, right? Because you can't use a smear against LGBT. Nobody gives a crap when you use the smear boomer against old people and ageism. Like, I guess I could say it. Thank you so much, Luke Casely, for the $3 super chat. Thank you. But let's keep moving because I have to show you guys. Okay. People said, I can't forget this. I cannot forget this. Now Kanye West has, his problems with him. I don't think he's a perfect person. Neither do I think anybody is. I'm not about to sit here and debate the personality and every single thing that Kanye West has ever said in his entire life. We have discussed many of these things in the past few months as he has been trending. However, tonight I want to specifically talk about the fact that when he came out and talked about how he wanted to protect his daughter from TikTok and the things that are going on social media, okay, he was laughed at. He was called controlling. He was called abusive for wanting to protect his daughter, a child, a female child at that. And not saying that, not saying that, you know, well, I can't even really say that because we got to protect these girls and boys the same. We just got to protect them all. But let's take a look at this because I want you guys to know, man. And we're not gonna go too far tonight because once you really start going into the rabbit hole, so this young lady said the comments on a TikTok video of a 6-year-old girl, six, sucking on a lollipop. This is straight up pedophilia. So these were some of the comments. How you get one of them glizzy gobblers? That mouth is dangerous. She's a natural. Sus, I swear she was 18. Okay, maybe she was 15, but still, wait, she was 8? No way, Jose. That is kind of sus. Sus meaning suspect, for people that may not know. Sir, give me that child, but she too young. I said, give me that child. Tons of comments going on about this. Now, this happens more than y'all know. A cautionary tale for parents that are out there, okay? If you have a public TikTok page, Instagram page, Facebook page, this is not your family album. It's not your family photo album. It's not where when people used to come over for dinner and used to sit the photo album out on a coffee table and grandma and grandpa could thumb through to see, silly photos and photos of you, coming of age. This is not that. This is not that. Okay? I am asking you guys, please be cognizant of the things that you are posting of your children on these social media apps. If you are posting your children taking baths at the swimming pools, in bathing suits, eating lollipops, eating popsicles, breastfeeding your children, you should know, even if these things do not show up in your comments, people are able to screenshot these things and post them other places on the dark web. If you do not think this is happening in real time, you are fooling yourself. It is your duty as a parent to go over and beyond to check to protect the innocence and the human rights of your children. Please, y'all. I recently saw a video on YouTube. Okay? It was a family. It was a mom, 2 daughters, and a little boy. They were at a pool that looked like to be in their backyard. And if I remember correctly, the mom was spraying the children and letting them run through a water hose. The oldest girl looked to be maybe 7 or 8. The youngest girl looked to be maybe 4. This seemingly looked like a family video. Just one of those you would sit at Thanksgiving time. Somebody will pull out the old I don't know, VHS and pop it in. Well, I don't even know if people have VHS anymore. But just looked like a simple, just family video that a family recorded on posted on YouTube of their children having a good time. This video had over 100,000 views. And in the comments, they were using code and putting timestamps in the comments, talking about the parts that they found most appealing. Like, I want it's a little upsetting to me because I really want people to understand what I'm saying and know that it's not a game. A random YouTube video, nothing, it was just kids laughing, playing, nothing outrageous. Very low quality production, looked like they just did it on an old phone. This was not some famous, oh, I open toys and I get paid to promote toy stores or the new video games. This was not one of those families. This was just a random family who, if you looked at their other videos had 10 views, 15 views. That means that somebody came across this video and started dropping the link all over the dark web saying, hey, go look at this. Go look at this one. And there were specifically grown men in the comments saying things like, I like the little one. The little one is so beautiful. Y'all, I'm talking about a 5-year-old child. It's so many sick people out here. And the craziest part about this is that some of these parents are doing it intentionally. I can't go as far as to say what Kim Kardashian is doing intentionally, but I know that Kanye West had concerns. I know that some of these mothers are so, it's like the time that we live in, and I think this goes right in line with social media. The fact that you have a lot of people that are so self-absorbed, and to be on social media, everybody, if you posting and you posting pictures and you whatever, everybody's gonna have some, you sharing yourself with the world. Everybody's gonna have some level of that, right? But some of it goes so overboard with what people are willing to share online, what they're willing to wear online, what they're willing to talk about, how they're willing to show themselves in compromising positions and things that would have in previous years been considered private. Okay. The things people are willing to infer or insinuate or imply. Okay. Very suggestive things that people are willing to do. And some of these parents are very on board with what is going on. Some of these disgusting, vile, downright nasty, evil, no good parents are right on board with what is going on. They know that pedophiles are showing up in their comments and they're specifically doing things that are just suggestive enough to get attention, but not enough to break the safety violation rules. It's so sickening. And these people that are these parents that are doing this, these parents that are doing this for the views and money. Okay? Views and money. They will put an Amazon link, a whatever else they have going on in their bios, and they specifically know what they're doing. I recently posted a video over on my other Instagram page, RhondaMary Vids, where I talked about the nasty New York Post had the nerve to validate, okay? They created this story talking about this mom. Oh, people are mad at her. People are bullying her because she chooses to breastfeed her child in public. And a lady's entire shirt, she's going through the grocery store, Walmart, wherever she is, and her entire shirt is down to her belly button, and she has her baby hanging from a boob, and has the audacity to paint everybody else as they're the problem. They're bullying me for breastfeeding my child, and come to find out the lady is a OnlyFans sex worker whose OnlyFans tagline is milking mommy. If you go to her TikTok page, one page is of her in some very scantily clad outfit exposing most of her breast. And then one picture over will be her child hanging from her breast because she's just this loving breastfeeding mom that people are picking on. And the nasty New York Post has the audacity to validate this woman, and you don't even mention in the article that this woman is a OnlyFans sex worker with the tagline milk mommy. No interest in protecting children. Like, this is the type of things that I'm talking about. And excuse me, y'all, but I get a little heated. I get a little upset because I don't think enough people care. And it's sad. It's sad when a small time YouTuber has to do more investigative journalism to be like, okay, she breastfeeding, but you got to breastfeed in the middle of the grocery store. You got to breastfeed with your shirt all the way down to your belly button. Let me go find out a little bit more. Kind of find out you a whole sex worker. And you think the New York Post doesn't know that? You think the New York Post doesn't know that they're driving people to her content with that article? This is how sick they are. You think they give a crap about protecting the child, the innocence of the child, that you probably had these grown men sitting up here wanking off to this TikTok material? The mom don't give a crap. And we're just sitting here validating mental illness. Like, everybody's scared to speak out about it. And then when I speak out about it, you have people DMing me, calling me, I'm worried about your safety. You worried about my safety because I want to protect children? They should have to worry about their safety. They should be concerned. We should be running these people off social media. Yeah, you got people being banned from social media because they concerned about what's being coerced to go in their body by billion-dollar pharmaceutical companies. You got people being run off social media for unpopular political speech. But you worried about my safety? Why are you not worried about the safety of the people that's hurting and abusing and violating children, the innocence of children? This is how sick our society have become. And when I speak out about it, people try to make it seem like it's something wrong with me. It's like it's unpopular to stand 10 toes down and be like, it's something wrong with these people. They almost make us the enemy. You say that children shouldn't be medically castrated at the age of 10, and now you the enemy. Not the trust and safety chief officers that were literally questioning, should adults be able to consent to sex with their high school students? Having the nerve to put something about a freaking baby and porn in the same sentence. Yeah, you ought to be running. You ought to be scared. And the media never paints a full story. I guess I'm just QAnon because I go look into these people backgrounds. Because I see the takes and the things that they're willing to do and say and project when it comes to children. We have lost our way as a society if we have gotten to the point where people feel like they're going to be bullied. They're going to be outcasted. They're going to be ostracized for speaking up for the protection and the innocence of children. Think about how sick that is. People ought to stay up crying tonight because this is just so absurd and ridiculous. This is supposed to be the most progressive society, and we can't even protect children from being abused right in front of our freaking eyes. Right on the internet in the open for everybody to see. And you got the nerve to tell me the journalists don't know what's going on? It takes some country girl from Mississippi to come on here in her country accent and tell y'all this is what is really going on. I don't have the access to flying all over and questioning people and doing all the digging and the scoping that the people at the freaking New York Post have. I don't have the resources and the access that the people at the Business Insider have. Why y'all can't do a full, impartial, balanced, nuanced story? At the very least, to protect children. It's infuriating, man. It's infuriating. And people will spend more time talking about freaking White Lives Matter shirts than protecting actual living, human, breathing children. Like, even how the Overton window is being pushed from what we're willing to accept and what is okay. So let's take a look at this next story. And I want y'all to tell me in the comments. Let me know if you can hear this as I share, because the previous week I did have some problems with my audio, but I want you guys to check out this story.
Last night that the Loudoun County School Board voted unanimously to fire Superintendent Scott Ziegler effective immediately. The school board met in closed session. They discussed the special grand jury report that was released on Monday. That report found Loudoun County Public Schools administrators looked out for their own interests rather than the best interest of the school district throughout their handling of 2 sexual assaults committed by the same high school student. A 14-year-old student sexually assaulted a girl at Stonebridge High School in May of 2021. He was allowed to transfer to Broad Run High School, where he abducted and sexually assaulted another girl in October of that year. The teen was later convicted in juvenile court. Members of the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors actually were the first to confirm to us that the superintendent had been fired. There are reports that because of the superintendent's contract, he will be paid in full. However, News 4 is working to confirm those details for you right now, and we will bring you the very latest as we learn it throughout the day, both on air and online. Reporting in Loudoun County, Drew Weiler, News 4.
So I think this was last year around this time that there was this family that interrupted this like school board meeting type thing, because the school board meeting was about making the high school bathrooms gender neutral. Okay. Y'all may remember this story. The parents burst into the meeting and was saying, like, the dad was, I think, even going on different media outlets saying that my daughter was raped at this school by a transgender student, and you guys are trying to sweep it under the rug. You're trying to act like it didn't even happen. So during that time, when the story went viral, because gender neutral bathrooms was the theme at that time, you had all this mainstream media running cover, running interference, okay, for the school and for their narrative that they lied and they did the same thing. They blame this story on, oh, what did they say? One of the articles from the New York Times, the right's big lie about a sexual assault in Virginia. They did the same thing, called it lies, called it conspiracy theories. It wasn't true. Only the right cares about that. Oh, it's so QAnon. All these other smear tactics. Just to come to find out a year later, not only did the superintendent knew that this girl child was sexually assaulted in the bathroom by a transgender student, but they swept it under the rug. They transferred the student to another school, and the student kidnapped another girl and assaulted her. The superintendent, the mainstream media, and a lot of the people circulating this story was so committed to their narrative. They were so committed to their narrative that they failed to protect children, living, breathing human children that will now deal with the scars of this for we don't know how long, possibly their entire lives. Everything that comes with sexual assault, depression, thoughts of suicide, all of the things that could come with that. And one of these students, uh uh could have been saved, but they were so committed to sticking to a narrative that a child was kidnapped and sexually assaulted on their watch. Two children. But at the very least, one of these could have been avoided. When I tell you that the agenda has become so much more important, that these people are willing to let the most evil things happen on their watch. And this is a reminder to everybody watching. This is not out here to put a target on anybody's back. Anybody, any race, ethnicity, sexuality, age, sex, can be a rapist, can be a child molester. I recently saw and political leaning. Please let me add that in there. Any political leaning. Okay? And it recently went viral about a guy who was saying that it was actually a girl. She said that one of her friend guys, his first experience was with his babysitter. Okay? And unfortunately, I know several guys that their first experience or at some point in their lives were molested by an older babysitter, family member, person in the neighborhood. And that's why I said earlier, we got to protect both. And you can't call this the most progressive time in history and not want to protect both boys and girls. This is a very real thing. And I pose the question, why do y'all have so much empathy for these women molesters and rapists? Because they could get the same energy too. I don't care about no sob story. Oh, whoop the whoop the whoop the child, blaming it on the child, the circumstances, no. These people should be concerned. And we have to be willing to protect these children and stand on it. And it should be no wavering. It should be no discrimination or bias when it comes to protecting children. We are not handing out passes to nobody. We are not turning a blind eye to nobody that seeks to violate or hurt, harm, abuse children. And the links that the mainstream media has gone to smear people and to write off people that have actual concerns, the same way they're doing this story with Roth over at Twitter now is the same way they did this story last year, and how they did these parents, just blowing them off as if what happened to their daughter didn't happen, because they were so invested in maintaining a narrative instead of protecting children. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug, so much for the super chat, for the $5 super chat. It's getting to the point where even these people maps, and if you don't know what that is, because I don't think I gave the what it means earlier, the acronym, minor attracted persons. These people now are even feeling comfortable coming out on Twitter talking about normalizing people attracted to minors, normalizing these discussions, normalizing man boy love. Okay, trying to attach and hitch themselves to LGBT and pride. If LGBT and pride is going to allow that to happen, and if you are going to allow groomers and pedophiles to hide amongst your ranks, don't be surprised when you get called out for doing so. Cast them from you. Let them stand alone in a public square and have the concern and the fear that they should. In no sense of the word, in no sense of common sense, in no sense of a functioning society, in no sense of a society that should be going forward and not backward, should we ever decide to not protect children, to become okay and casual with the violation of children. So be on high alert. Be on high alert. This is a very real thing. Um, it's a very real thing, and I have learned a lot more about this from following a lot of activists. I follow a lot of protect children, even from the womb to children in general. And as I've followed these activists a lot more and just learning about what's really going on, and some of us get caught up in our echo chambers, so we think it's not real. We think it's overstated. You don't exist on the dark web, so, or I hope you not, getting into that. But if you don't exist there, you don't know what's going on, because it's like an algorithm. It's just like, y'all that be over there on Instagram. If you're looking at big booty girls all day, Instagram gonna show you more big booty girls. That's just how that goes. But it's like an algorithm, right? So if you are on Twitter and you're looking for or looking at certain type of videos that exploit children, it's going to show you more videos like that, and social media can be very bad about pushing you into echo chambers. So, you know, you may think it's not a thing, you may think that it's not going on, but it is. And um following some of these activists, I've been able to see, how they have exposed how places like Twitter and TikTok, in a lot of ways, and I'm sure Instagram is not beyond it either, but I more so heard about it on Twitter and TikTok, has been complicit in a lot of ways of what they're allowing, turning a blind eye to, and what they are prioritizing. And so there are some people behind the scenes that are doing a lot of good work to make sure that these things are being exposed, they're being taken up the ranks to, important people, and these things are being handled. And currently at the time, a lot of these things are being removed from Twitter, okay, which is very good. So Rakim the Great, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He said, thank you for using your voice, Rhonda. Always enjoy your perspective. Is much needed in these times. A blessing, Queen. Thank you so much. But you know, I know it's some prayer warriors out there. Make sure y'all praying for the children. Make sure y'all let people know what's going on, because a lot of people think that because they're innocent and think that because they're good-hearted people, they really don't know what's happening on the internet. And you have people that will post pictures of their children in, I would say, what should be private things. And the internet is forever. The internet is forever. And once it's out there, you cannot control who has that information. So we just have to put our best foot forward about being, proactive about what we're allowing people to see and how we're feeding into certain things. But hopefully, I hope that what Twitter is now currently doing, I hope will continue to happen. I hope that maybe this will inspire some other apps to get very serious about what is going on with child sexualization and child porn. And I fear that it won't be happening anytime soon, but I would love to see a more serious mainstream media. I would love to see a media that goes the extra step, that is not even that far of a step, just to get a balanced news story about what is going on in these regards, and really prioritizing the children, man. Not some narrative, not some political leaning, not some agenda, whatever. I don't care nothing about that. And neither should really anybody when it comes to protecting children. Thank you so much to everyone that super chatted tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that supports this channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you are not following me, I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Rhonda_Mary, or I am RhondaMary. All of my information can be found over at RhondaMary.com. You can also purchase merch here as well. I have hoodies, tees, and all of the sort if you would like to use that way to support this channel. And we will be talking soon. Y'all have a good night. Bye.